We are in Vesuna Regis, in the Administratum, deep in the catacombs underneath the Administratum headquarters. The councillors which serve the prefect have gathered, and you're all gathered around them, dressed as Vigilites, here to take notes on how to assist them and how to solve the murder of the 8th councillor. There are only 7 left. They are here, they are paranoid. There is an inquisitor here. There is the head marshal of the Vigilites, essentially the arbitrators. So this is a situation where the councillors have been gathered here on orders from the prefect. The prefect doesn't meet personally. He only lives in the very far from here. He has a bunch of different locations. And you're here to secretly to find out on behalf of your inquisitor whether any of these councillors are involved in the Abyssian witnesses, or the cult that is said to be behind the warp storm called the Pandemonium. The Abyssian witnesses. And there we can begin. So you're in a dark, deep, cavernous hall that was built eons ago. The various councillors are walking around, getting tired at this point. Their servants run back and forth, getting them food and various things they need. There is a dim, bright white light that is shimmering. And you look around and you will see a crowd in the darkness. All the people needed to serve each councillor. On the balcony above, you see the head of your inquisitor, Castor Typh, and his advisor, Kane. They look down occasionally as you walk between the different councillors, and the meeting is about to end. And Nova, what does your character look like right now?
She's probably in her more usual get-up of a bit more fancier clothing, given the setting, but underneath she has her body glove hidden beneath the clothes, of her hair shoulders length loose, and she's mostly sticking to the shadows and like the edge of the meeting area, trying not to be noticed.
Awesome. Do you... so you're just staying back for now, not really interacting?
Yes. Yeah, gotcha. Mostly watching. Seeing if there's anything either approaching that could be dangerous, or...
You will all have your casual Vigilite gear on. Your armor, if you choose to wear it, of course. And and you, Franz, if you're here.
Franz is wearing full Vigilite armor. You can see a bolt pistol on his side. He has since taken off his helmet and is carrying it under his arm. At present, he is currently walking towards the Duchess with another Vigil in tow. You would actually recognize him as one of the Inquisitional group, but is obviously in full disguise.
And finally you, Nicholas.
Wearing Vigilite armor adorned with rosaries and signs of the Aquila, denoting a more inclination towards the Imperial trade more than other Vigilite enforcers. carrying on his back a small altar, blowing holy incense. As incense sticks are lit ablaze, and this perfumated smoke coils around his personage. He moves from each group to another, keeping a finger on the pulse of the meeting, feeling the tension in the air, and seeking a new conversation partner.
Wonderful. You have spent a lot of time here, and you've noticed a few details about the people attending the meeting. Raphael Thought is a noble. He wears an ornate cogwheel around his neck, with tithe grades inscribed, and an unusual long-fitting clothes. He is a collector of tithes. Sax Holston is clad in heavy Arbites armor, blackened carapace plating. It is scuffed and dented. Yes, a few gray hairs, some facial scars, and kind of recluse. Egnon is keeping to himself for the most part, standing by. On the other end of the table, he looks like a mutant, but he looks very well put together. No visible mutations. He just has these very thin, scaly eyes, kind of snake-like, to just look back and forth at all of you. Titus, with his pale skin, almost otherworldly demeanor, is slowly just pacing around the table, looking over at you with suspicion. He is dressed in an elaborate robe. Martyr is very tall. He has a streak of silver in his hair, cybernetic implants, a royal blue robe, and he's carrying the sigil of Night House Olisar. Lucia is an elegant woman. She is wearing a very ornate dress. She is surrounded by her servants. Elias has a luxurious attire, dark red and black robe with gold trims, and he is adorned with Chaldeans quarantine. All of them have servants occasionally run up and adjust their clothes and give them food. We can do the last few minutes of the meeting there. Last time we had an opportunity to do a Sinitians test, which you failed. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't believe there was a Sinitians test.
I need to scroll up a bit. There was a psychers test.
Yes. You can redo that at minus 60.
Is it forbidden law?
Yeah.
I do not have it. Franz? Nova?
I do. Well, it's okay. Sorry, I've just not had it.
No, it is a Sinitians test.
Sinitians.
And it was minus 20, but now you can redo it at minus 60.
Yeah, I don't have Witchfinder.
I'm going to say this. You feel a strange presence in the room, like a tingling in your gut. Whenever you look between the dark pillars, deep into the room, you will see shadows shifting. You think there's a person walking there, but then you look again. No one. There's an airy echo as the voices subside, and people are mostly standing around waiting for the meeting to end.
Could Nicholas attempt to move through the crowd and approach Raphael Thorpe II?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you will push past Elias and the others. Titus turns around, straightening his coat.
I signal to both Nova and Franz to help me provide like a screen separating him from his servants and other non-Inquisition undercover vigils. As I say in...
You can see Franz as Franz is actually approaching the Duchess, he actually will look across at you and just give you a slight no. As in what he called, sorry, I can't help. As he's committed himself.
He nods, yet persists as he shoots awful glances at Nova.
Is it again? I think I didn't quite catch what you said.
For you to assist in screening Raphael Thorpe II, basically provide cover from all non-inquisitorial related assets, as if to keep this conversation as isolated as possible from the rest of
You have a couple of
interests.
Other acolyte agents walking around dressed as vigil. They will strategically place themselves sort of around you to make a wall, to make you isolated.
I'll, as I'll be having my conversation, I'll put Nova in charge of that should it be required. As I say in High Gothic, Salve, blessed thy collector, Raphael Thorpe II.
He raises an eyebrow, looks at you, his eyes radiating a calculating intensity. He looks you up and down. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for everything you have done. I feel much safer now that you are watching us.
But of course, on behalf of the visual, I thank thee as well for taking precious moments of your very little free time to partake in such an important meeting.
He nods intensely. Thank you. Thank you.
Now, as we have taken several interviews and testimonies, there have been some discrepancies which no doubt are unbiased, yet still require clarification. If you would be so kind as to assist us.
He looks around, anxious if anyone is watching him. Of course, I am willing to help in any way I can. It would be my honor. He leans in as if his hearing is poor.
Yes, of course you will. As he looks down on a makeshift as an acolyte passes by and hands him clandestinely a clipboard as he picks it up, and it suddenly materializes in his hand from the perspective of Raphael as he begins to read from it.
Nice. Inspiration. Okay. You can do a charisma test.
Would charm suffice?
You, charm, sorry. You get a plus 10. No, minus 10.
Rotate flat. Noah, may you assist me with this?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, of course.
So Noah will move the string in such a manner as to feel him more isolated. As he tries to look around for support, he is only met with the backs of vigilites or with. Or as he catches glances with one of his assistants, he then looks to the side, becomes pale, and pretends he didn't see his master's gaze.
Nice. Damn. Titus has an almost childlike expression, clearly old and not paranoid, but in the later stage of his life, just seems open and willing to speak. He's focusing very heavily, like his eyes are very sharp and his eyebrows are completely tensed, focusing intensely on you.
No, Sir Raphael, if you would be so kind as to declare your position and your responsibilities within the council.
Raphael?
Yes.
You're not talking to Titus?
No, to Raphael.
Really?
Yeah.
I must have called the wrong name. Damn, my bad.
Ah.
Okay, well, let's say you had a little chat with Titus then.
Okay. I'll chat
he
with
went
Titus
on to his own thing. You will walk up to Raphael. My bad. No, Raphael has an ornate cogwheel on his chest. You will recognize these from Desoleum, the planet. They have inscriptions of tithe grades and basically the rank that you hold on Desoleum. It's clear that he has a position there as well. He has an unusually long outfit and is quite tall. He collects tithes for the administratum. As you walk up to him, his cybernetic eye shimmers. He does a deep swallow, and we will do your charisma test on this one, so it counts for this.
Yes.
As you walk up to him, he smiles. Yes. How can I help you?
If you'd be so kind, for the sake of posterity, describe surface level understanding of thy responsibilities for the record within the council.
He raises his eyebrows. Oh, I am an arbitrator of Departamento Conglatio and Actus, collecting tithes for the administratum. My Imperial Guard service speaks for itself. I hold a position in the administratum, and with the Prometheum mining chapter, we are fulfilling all our quotas, as you should see from our records.
Of course. The Emperor Bliss.
Interrupting you. Lead the courts. You should know that.
Indeed. The Emperor truly blesses those faithful and hardworking, hand in hand. He says as the string on the prayer beads on his left hand begin to the tension of the string begins to be heard as he tries to calm himself down and continues.
Now, I've heard the whisper. Some sort. Or some sort of ill will towards Holst. It is, of course, a thought I never entertained. Until the senator fell silent.
Well, you would be the most likely to be aware of Senator Hall's most recent events within his life, after all. There are,
Yes, I knew him quite well.
of course, and the numerous testimonies of you orchestrating the plantation of several listening devices upon his employees and serfs.
Sorry, what? He leans in as if he didn't hear it.
Apologize. Surely you must have misheard me.
A listening device?
Yes. There are some devices that have been found upon the serfs and helpers of the late Chancellor, which some believe they originate from you.
Absurd accusations. I would never do such a thing. Who is accusing me of this? Why am I not allowed to hear from him myself? Turns around, astounded.
Of course, you would never.
Elias!
Of course, you
Elias
would.
just looks over in your direction, raises his glass. He turns around dramatically. Elias. In our private talks, the senator has expressed concern for the lack of tides from our host moons. You can see draw a deep breath, clearly insulted. The keeper of Chaldean's dues counts coins with a lot of skill, but the council's vaults rarely reflect this. There are many here who resent me for my role. Simply rumors. I am sorry that they have wasted your time.
I mean, you certainly would not do such a thing, unless, of course,
not.
you would have a reason, such as the late Lester Holst accusing you of something. As he looks through the papers and quickly shoots a look in the direction of Raphael.
Do interrogation tests. You get a plus 10.
No. Oh, no. I'm gonna use my last faith point for an additional
Astounded,
plus
he
point.
just sort of takes a step back. This is preposterous. I'm not here to be accused of murdering my own friend. He steps on the foot of an inquisitorial agent standing behind him. As he turns around, his face faces the inquisitorial acolyte. The coldness and grim stare of the acolyte sends shivers into Raphael. It is at this moment he realizes the seriousness of the situation he is in.
But Lord
He looks
Raphael,
He looks in your direction, and you can see his head is sort of jolting with stuttered movement. His face turns pale. His eyes light up as if he has seen a predator. He chokes, struggles to breathe. I am simply doing my duty to the Imperium. He looks up. The Inquisitor is standing there, looking down at you with a deathly, cold gaze.
Interesting. Allow me to revisit the many lectures. I fail to remember where one's duty to the Imperium revolves around spying on the faithful servants of the throne after being accused of some pretty serious matters, good sir. Surely the Vigil could have taken care of such matters. After all, you are a judge. There would be no need for you to approach such slander directly now, would you?
He trembles. He tries to raise his hand with this glass, but he just is shaking. Looks over your shoulders for help. Surrounded. I was merely doing my duty. My servant was caught with the recording and I disciplined him. Severely. I swear I did not order it. He no longer works for me.
Please, elaborate in more detail, if you would. What would...
He starts blinking intensely. It is about the investigations. Sent by the arbitrator. He looks and throws a glance in Sax's direction. The arbiter of justice has a way of making cases disappear. I simply wanted everything to be documented correctly. One might wonder if he is serving the law or something else entirely. There are so many missing files, so many things. He throws another glance in Sax's direction. Holst and I spoke of it many times. It was he who brought me on the idea. Not of the surveillance, but Holst told me he had acquired a copy of Sax's hidden judiciary ledger. He sort of mumbles this under his breath. Turning pale, he claimed it detailed the tribunal cases that never happened, and the names of prisoners who never returned. That ledger's disappearance coincided with his murder.
How are you aware of the ledger's disappearance?
He told me.
So a robbery was orchestrated before his death. How many more people do they know about the existence and the disappearance of this ledger?
I wouldn't know. But Zax has a rather large vault in his precinct. I attempted to gain access through the courts, but the files of his investigations are hidden away. Emperor knows how many files and cases are hidden there. So many prosecutions that never happened. He is deathly afraid as he says this, trembling. I never intended for the device to end up in Holst's office.
I look at his desperate enunciation and try to see how much of it is truthful and how much is his attempts to redirect me at possible juicier prey.
Alrighty, do the test. Yeah,
Them some good rolls.
there is some deception on his face when he says this.
I feel that you're leaving something out, or mayhaps to deter RJs to not look further into your matters, Counselor Raphael. Withholding the truth is not appealing to the agents of the Vigil, might I remind you.
His eyes shimmer as he looks around.
It's important that you also sound convincing when saying so, sir, and you'll need to say it more convincingly, if I may make a suggestion.
Do an interrogation test. -20.
Noah, can you assist me?
Sorry, dude.
Okay.
I'm out of the room.
Nobility. That's it. I'm gonna use that inspiration.
Yep.
No!
I have told you everything I know. I have said more than I should.
As he tries to move in to apply more pressure, soon the string, his many assistants manage to find a crack within the acolyte's string, and they begin to pouring around him, failing to apply whatever pressure, completely surrounded by his posse.
Awesome. As one of them reaches up and hands him a cup, he dips his hand in the cold cup of water, and these clear water droplets drip from his fingers. He breathes and sprinkles his face with the water. Oh, yes. Thank you, Arbiter. Thank you.
Of course.
His servant leans up with a little cloth and starts wiping his face.
Between bit lips, Nicholas will move back and say, "Of course, Counselor. Thank you for your time." As he
do get back to me about the whole business that we spoke of.
But of course, we will be kept up to date at all times. As he moves further into the crowd, as Wolf would retreat back within the bushes, knowing that the prey is far out of its reach.
You see that he and Elias exchange some looks, where Elias looks very stern and threatening. Raphael, of course, looks completely shaken. He is assisted away by some of his servants. Anyone else you want to talk to before we...
Yep, I'm just gonna... What I call Franz is walking up to the Duchess. He will have his helmet off, and as he approaches her, will give a bow and signal to the Vigilite to just hold back. As he approaches her, he will say, "My lady, unfortunately, there has been other things that have been brought to our attention." And he's just going to glance out at the room after paying attention to the microbead, and Raphael now scurrying away. And what he called, and will draw her gaze to it. That this may unfortunately go a little bit deeper than we rather hoped.
What?
As such,
she looks around. I'm merely here to help.
Indeed, and as are we. And to facilitate this help, my colleague...
We have a plan. We're leaving in... She looks at her chrono. Soon.
and that is why this Vigilite shall be going with you. He is to stay by your side at all times, and to take any danger directed at yourself onto himself. Do not...
What? I have hundreds of guards. I don't need more.
Yes. None of them are as well trained as this gentleman. I can assure you of that. He has been vetted at the highest levels, and will unfortunately be mind wiped after this assignment, to ensure that none of your personal information were to leak out, as a sign of good faith between ourselves and you.
The lady seems perplexed. She looks at you and looks around. Surely there must be a mistake. I was never informed.
Unfortunately, that is the nature of the beast. I'm not proud of this, but our superiors believe that, shall we say, using some live bait to catch the hunter was the best plan. And as you can see, we seem to have flushed them.
She, blinking intensely, she nods. Yes, I will do as you ask.
I thank you.
One of her servants comes up and with a augmented voice, "Stay 2 meters away from the lady." Positions himself between them. At all times.
He will give a rather soft nod. His face is still showing as though it's probably the friendliest you've ever actually seen Franz be towards anyone. And will take a step back and look at the ground and say, I believe that is slightly over 2 meters.
He just stands there looking at you menacingly.
And we'll just turn round to the Duchess again and say, if you need to contact me for any reason, or our organization for any reason whatsoever, my colleague here knows how to do it discreetly.
She
I can assure
folds
you
her
that the
hands.
vigils,
Will he be joining us on Partagrim?
he shall. Unfortunately, Wilhelm has said that this is non-negotiable.
She looks up at the balcony. The Inquisitor averts his gaze. Very well. I will do as you say. She looks at Raphael and sees him pale, trembling.
With that, my lady, I've taken enough of your time. I thank you again. And with that, he will just stand with his head ever so slightly bowed, waiting to be dismissed.
Awesome. Karak, you will see this huge crowd of servants surrounding the counselors, as this is your last chance to catch them gathered, probably ever. The meeting is about to end in a few minutes. And we are having a role-playing scene until they leave.
Seeing how everyone is currently in the midst of discussions, gathering their things, getting up, Karak would like to subtly, through his mastery of the noosphere, begin to press into the various cogitators and data pads of the servants' data spikes, so that later down the line, he and his fellow inquisitorial acolytes could access them and take some secrets from them that might be useful.
Sick. Do security tests. You get a -40.
Okay, cool. I can't pass that, so solid. I will fail.
This is legendarily advanced gear. the tech priests following the counselors everywhere. They have the very best, and of course it is heavily secured. You attempt to hook up with it, and every time you do, it is just incomprehensible.
Noah, Karak, anything catching your sights?
Regretfully, no. It appears that I have been my skills have been less than applicable in the coming days. I hope that I'll be more useful as time continues.
Don't worry, experience. And once you're on the field, you'll adapt. Just takes a bit of time. How about you, Nova?
I suppose we will have to see.
As he looks desperately for other targets.
You'll hear Franz come over the microbead, and I think we should probably let them go before they start turning hostile.
The final moments are the moments most precious. Only Raphael, we have a lot on him. We could turn him to be an asset to the Inquisition. We have enough to blackmail him on. That Holst is unsquarely neither. Raphael relies a lot on Elias. I wonder why he does so. Mayhaps due to his tie collector position. Benefits from his trading operations, should they cooperate? Or is he blackmailing him with his position?
You can see the marshal getting ready to end the meeting on the balcony.
I quickly try to navigate the crowd and see as Raphael speaks with Elias as he reforms his demeanor, and soon after moves away. I see Elias in place without any other counselor speaking to him, and I try to approach him.
Elias ignores you for a long time, having watched you. Just at least the aftermath of it, seeing how pale he turned. He's not excited to see you approach him. He catches Lucia Vale's gaze, and they give each other a friendly nod. Lucia looks worried. She folds her hands, almost reaching them out as if, "Are you going to be okay?" He gives a comforting nod. You would recognize this with your very deep investigative skills. Elias sort of straightens up, cocks his neck, and draws a deep breath, looks at you approaching. Then he sort of leans in, tries to emit all the authority that he can. He is a middle-aged man, short dark hair, very luxurious attire, dark red and black robe. And of course he has Chaldean's quarantine sigils. He's the tithe collector of Chaldean, one of the moons.
I hear I hear about this small mannerism and micro expression from Carrot as he manages with the aspects to find them, and then he relays them to me with a slight grin and one of the corners of his mouth slightly moving upwards. I approach the type collector of Chaldean Elias and say, good counselor, you look pale. I understand. Counselor Raphael may be of a less still conversation pattern, but fear not, I'm here. I have some questions, if you don't mind, on behalf of the vigil.
I have no fear at all. I was expecting you.
I'm glad.
I as well.
You, from what I understand, are in charge of the Thai collection of Chaldean. Would you, for posterity's sake, explain thy duties? A swift summary, if you would.
Tithe Collector of Chaldean is just an official title. I, of course, manage all trade between Chaldean and Juno. I also collect tithes on Juno, as well as Patagrim. I work closely with Lucia.
The Duchess?
Indeed.
That's quite fortunate. You must probably have your hands full at the moment, especially since there have been reports of many Xenos technologies passing through these trade networks, and you are working diligently to monitoring them, I presume.
Yes. You can do a interrogation test at minus 20.
And I'll assist you this time.
Could you assist me as well, Carrot? Do you have anything you can use in your aspects to tell me where to press and where to not?
Regretfully, that is not within my breadth of skills.
You've probably seen that in the microbead, I'm guessing.
Yes.
However, I have been monitoring their various vital signs and heart rates, so if that could provide some aid to you, I will instruct you as to how he is reacting internally, and that will hopefully be able to aid him in the check he is attempting to make.
Would that be able to assist me?
Yeah, you get plus 10. Sure.
Nice. Nice.
All right. Yes, he again also gets surrounded by inquisitorial agents. Takes a step back. Yes?
Speaking of these troll trader network, how goes the policing of these trade routes?
His blink rate increases. He sort of tilts his head sideways a little bit. What?
Sure.
I don't understand the question.
No apologies. Since there have been Xenos artifacts and technologies passing through the trade networks you have been tasked to oversee, I believe you, of course, have not neglected thy duties and have an investigation of your own underway. If you would be so kind as to relay your findings with the vigil, if you may, Counselor.
My investigation of Lester's death?
No, of the network of alien artifacts.
I
That
thought we were
has-
here to speak of Lester. What is this talk of artifacts? I was not informed. Is this part of a different investigation?
No. We believe that these two matters are related to one another.
Of course, I wouldn't know. I never delve into such matters. He looks around. I know that the Veil's Keeper guards his lands for good reason. People there speak of artifacts buried beneath the filth. He allows anything profitable to take place there. And Lester was the only one brave enough to look. We may never know what he found there. But I have never looked.
And why is that?
I simply had no interest.
Yet, Chaldin was untouched by so many misbegotten deals.
He looks, sort of inspects his nails. Many cases were brought before the judge. And as you know, the judge's verdict carries a strange weight. He tried to bring his crusades regarding these artifacts to Chaldeen, but his authority was finally questioned by none other than Lester. Perhaps the piling up of dead bodies around these artifacts became an embarrassment to him.
If you may, with a grand gesture, has the arbitrator maintained contact with any other counselor on friendly terms?
Yes. Yes, he's friendly with us all. We perform our duties. What we may think of each other personally is another matter entirely. Completely irrelevant. We're all on friendly terms.
And Counselor de Cambry, if you'd be so kind as to explain your relationship with him.
He draws a deep breath. The Cambry and I have a special relationship. One that grows deeper every moment. We work together in every capacity.
In every capacity? You're not close enough to help Counselor de Cambry with his cold trading issue.
I was not aware that he had an issue.
After all, Juno is most affected, and you are overseeing the trade network within.
I oversee the official trade network. As I said, I am not involved in any illicit goods or artifacts, other such things.
Morten, I have a skill called ears to the ground to detect whether somebody is involved with a trade of illicit goods, whether they're arbiter or somebody is attempting to track down on it or has a finger in the pudding of a pie. Could I roll commerce?
Can you type the chat? We don't usually go out of character, but can you type the text of the skill?
Of course. Allow me a second to find the flavor text for it.
Yeah. Is it in the core book?
No, it's from Libre. I don't know if it's applicable.
From where?
From Liber Imperium.
Oh. Is that homebrew?
Yeah, it gets a bit of everything from every board.
Right. It might be a little OP for Dark Heresy. We'll see.
Could be. That's why I'm asking whether it's applicable, because it's also very finicky in how it's used.
Yeah, we'll see how specific it is. Do you have the flavor text?
Yes, found it.
Go. Anyone else, feel free to chime in. There we go. The character is a plus 20 for the camera status when training or selling goods. For I'm can learn to avoid official attention from the arbiters. Not this one. Doesn't deceive us. Avoid it.
I don't know if it's applying or it's
No,
used.
I don't think
in
this applies in
matter.
this situation. It's for trade and commerce, unfortunately. Creative idea, but
It was
I'm
a
gonna
bit
say
of a
no.
reach.
Is there anything else you would like to know?
He tries to think and he rests his hands on his jaw with
He leans in a little bit. May I have your name? Perhaps you introduce yourself.
Officer Nemo.
Pleased to meet you. You
As
know...
he-
Go on.
As he allows him to engage in small talk and puts his fist on his jaw in a thinking motion with his hand, his thumb and index making an L gesture on his jaw, reaching to the microbit in his ear, saying, whispering into his half-open fist, "Do we have anything on Elias? Anything useful that we could pin or pressure him on?"
I saw you speaking with Raphael.
Heard from potential eye skimming? Nothing much.
Indeed, sir. Is there some...
Carrick Fulcrum, remembering from the data file that he got from the unfortunately dead member of the council, will pull up that file and pull up a rumor that was listed on the data slate, particularly that this particular member of the council was apparently dealing in illicit goods on the side, specifically spook. Whether this rumor has been verified is completely unknown, as it was found on the data slate. It was planned to be used as a slander by the now dead member of the council.
Do you show this to Elias, or?
This is just he transmits the exact wording on the data slate to his earpiece.
Okay. So you will all receive that.
Very free, but it could work. As I re-engage, as I stop Elias from his musings and say, "Counselor Elias, there, as you said, the late counselor was a very brave man that has looked into the darker dealings of the market. In our investigations, we have found some clues that may relate to the matter.
The matter of the artifacts?
Well, many matters. His death, artifacts, maybe. You are aware that the substance known as putsch is illegal to be commerced and even more illegal to manufacture due to its manufacturing process, correct?
Yes, I'm aware of that.
The late counselor, while in the investigation, in the middle of his investigations, has found a connection between the spook network and your own trade network. Official papers allowing them to more easily be moved.
Who? Who am I being accused by? He looks around.
Oh, no one, sir. We just hope that you could clarify.
So is this just a rumor?
Well, if you would be so kind as through one of the data slates that has passed from Karak to one of the acolytes, and the acolytes in the meantime what at a brisk pace to bring it to Nicholas. He puts his hand into the crowd and produces the data slate with the blackmailing material from the late counselor, saying, if you could elaborate on this matter. Surely these are baseless accusations, yet we must understand, we must look into them.
He looks at it. What exactly is he looking at?
Garrett, if you would.
Of course, he looks at a data slate report mentioning it. There's a brief report file talking about how decently high up members of this particular council members' trade network interacting with gangers that sell spook. And there is a audio recording of these people talking in a code that seems to imply that that market person is getting this spook to sell it on behalf of the governor. However,
where did you get this from?
This is from the the council members' data slate. It was mentioned that there were several rumors and backed up with some facts and stuff. So that is
which council members' data slate?
The dead one that we found in his room.
Oh, the officio of Lester Holst.
Yes.
Gotcha.
We unencrypted a bunch of files, and several rumors were stated, and I have that in my notes as one of them.
Awesome. He will study the data slate for a while, raising an eyebrow. I've been accused of many things. Ah, I see. He hands it back to you. Yes. Lester Holst and Raphael had a peculiar friendship. They were always trying to drag me through the courts regarding our trade. Completely baseless accusations. Raphael has been accusing me of hiding tithes, you see. As perhaps we're aware, it is a distraction. His court chambers hide something he doesn't want anyone to find. It is he who has the connection in question. According to a prisoner who escaped, he has a secret tunnel there for his own personal justice. Lester would have known about this rumor, and would not have stayed quiet. Raphael's records are difficult to trace. I suspect you look there. And Raphael had his disagreements with Lester as well. I have none, at least on record. And of course, this is a baseless rumor. I can't relate to this.
And where perhaps would we find this escaped prisoner?
He is dead.
How very.
But since we're dealing in accusations and rumors, thought I might share one with you.
Please do.
That's the one. I also had private conversations with Lester. He expressed deep concern about the court records. He is also looks over at Raphael. Deeply envious of me. You see, Chaldean's wealth hurts his pride. He's always trying to bring up something in the courts. Some artifact that was found. Some illicit goods, accusations. And Lester believed him. Well.
Counselor Raphael believes that many of the accusations and investigations have been stopped by the Counselor checks on your behalf.
Again, reality has been turned on its head. That is exactly what the court counselor is known to do. And that is not a rumor. How would I interfere with investigations of the court? I spend most of my time on Chaldean.
Franz will look across at...
Chaldean is wealthy beyond measure. We have no need to interfere with the business of the courts on Juno.
Speaking...
So it's wealthy beyond measure. Well, I'm sure the tithe collectors would be most happy to hear that.
You see him swallow. They are very pleased with me.
Yes, but wealthy and wealthy beyond measure are two separate things, and it is for the glory of the Imperium, obviously. We shall send them your direction.
If you may, Counselor Elias, could you explain in a small detail how Chaldean benefits from its wealth, how it manages to make its wealth?
Through trade. We of course trade with wealthy rogue traders, nobles from the entire sector. Our exports are numerous. Precious minerals, promethium. And of course we provide for Juno as well.
Nicholas would go in greater detail about trade regulations and the prices, and as he says, promethium, well, I'm certain that you manufacture in such great quantities and of such excellent quality that Serix Magnus would like to learn your manufacturing process, so on and so forth, pushing for more information about his about Chaldean's way of acquiring wealth, seeing if there's any discrepancies that wouldn't add up.
Nice. You can do a scrutiny test at -30.
I'll just
Scrutiny. Would commerce at a higher difficulty
Yeah.
also work?
Absolutely.
I
You can do a
will
commerce
also-
test at -30. Oh my god.
That should be only at -10 because Carrick would also be assisting with his monitoring of the vitals.
Awesome. 6 degrees.
Exquisite.
He goes on and on and on. Mechanicus augmented networks allow him to oversee Chaldean's extremely vast networks of communications. But when you get on the topic of communicating with the various trade partners, you keep digging into the messages he is sending. So he has built Chaldean into a huge, like, beacon of signals, able to transmit messages more quickly than anyone. Of course, using paths for the most vital information for the vast distances. There is something about sending and receiving messages that gets him anxious. That topic. He also hints or quickly mentions a base, a kind of quarantine-sealed vault. He only, in passing, whenever you ask, he redirects it to be, no, it's just a mineral storage deposit. He also speaks of data crystals, endless data crystals. Quarantined items are more difficult to ship, and so on. Why something would be quarantined, he does not go into. He, when you speak to him, you get the impression that he's trying to bring up things that fly over your head that are like too complicated for someone like you to understand, since you've only lived on Juno.
Out of curiosity, these Mechanicus arguments that relay information faster, are they perhaps also coming from Series Madness, which we had some experience with tampered documents in the past?
He trades with Series Magnus, and he has Mechanicus from Series Magnus, and
Of course,
he uses them to build his networks.
Mm. There are a lot of
You also mentioned that they're completely secured, silver-plated, quarantine-sealed, and so on.
such great efforts, Lord Chancellor.
And explains that it is to safeguard the riches of the sector.
Could I, when he describes like the countermeasures of silver-plated and other security countermeasures, Do I detect something in regards to operations of the Imperial Creed or possible the defense against heresies or something of similar nature, a spiritual way of guarding assets from enemies beyond?
It does seem a little excessive with how protected the planets are.
Nothing beyond that.
No.
Mhm. Nothing to be specifically guarding against a specific type of threat.
They would be guarded against everything. There's
As
he
many
has
possible threats
he has
as possible.
psychers. He has complete isolation from any kind of signals. They're
Mm.
underground, obviously.
So it's it's in general terms protected. It's not expecting like a certain type of threat.
They are very well hidden, and yeah.
As Franz walks past him, you'll actually see him glance down at his data slate as he stopped talking about the security measures, and it will just have one sentence on it, which you, Nicholas, will be able to read, which says, "Details sent to our tech boy at the data loom."
I know in terms of towards Counselor Elias, he says, has Counselor Jack Holston ever contacted you in regards of acquiring a similar vault to yours, sir?
While you say that, the Vigil Marshal has already begun his speech to end the meeting. Elias, still politely speaking with you, over your shoulder. Are you inquiring about Sax?
Yes.
Raises an eyebrow. I think I've already said too much. I don't have any official complaints, or I don't suspect that he is involved in any way. But he has tried to bring the Crusades to Chaldean many times on behalf of Raphael. I would appreciate it if you look into that for me. Who knows? There could be a reward there for you. Says that personally to you, knowing that no one else would hire him over the noise of the reverberating voice of Wilhelm. Maybe you can enjoy a nice retirement.
Of course. So,
He nods, smiles. We have an understanding.
as the speech is about
You're always welcome on Chaldean, my friend.
I'll hold you on to that, sir.
He pats your shoulder with a warm, friendly smile.
As the speech is coming to a close and he moves back to report to the rest of the acolytes. He says under his breath, I've had my fair share of Imperial sleazebags, but this one is a smooth one. He's like a wolf, and he's in an entire market and is his hunting ground.
Inspiration point.
Definitely fishy.
And we can go out of character if you guys want to have a narrative talk, whatever we want to call it. as the meeting is ending.
So what we're going to pursue now here?
With this, it appears we have passed through the eye of the needle, but where to go from here is now the question.
There is not a single clean. There is not a single clean counselor. They all have a hand or have a compromised position in one way or another. They are.
Indeed. But hopefully, they will keep each other's ambitions in check. We must only hope that this unfortunate event does not create a vacuum to be filled by our conspirators.
Do not disillusion yourself, comrade. Know that the enemy would not have dared make such a brazen move should he not have support within the council. One of them is conspiring with them. They've all dipped their toes in heresy, but not enough to draw the ire of the Inquisition.
There was a time when I would have thought that good news, but given our latest enlightenment, I can only despair. Although that might not be the proper thing for a tech priest to say.
Well, we have something to go on. We have two of them with inquisitional assets close by. So we're a little bit further forward than we were 45 minutes ago.
I regret to say I was unable to plant any listening devices on their equipment. I apologize for my inadequacy.
Do not beat yourself over it, Scholar Carla. They can afford the best equipment money can buy, and money is not an asset that they are lacking. Nevertheless,
Out of this, you'll just actually see that Franz is, what do you call it, just watching, Varus. He's just watching his every move, and you can tell that he likes him for something.
he is a cunning man, and he's aware that we don't have a lot on him. However, on his counterpart, as his eyes turn towards Raphael, we have so much dirt on him, we could possibly hold him and turn him, dip our toes within the council's power, have him work for us, should we have to reveal our true nature. Yet, I believe we possess enough evidence for him to be forthcoming, while still under the guise of Vigil agents. And he may return to his panicked state, not to question why the Vigil has the authority to hold him. Zach Holston has led many crusades of persecution against council members. He allows some of them to pass, while others are being kept at bay. Funny, they all say they are friends with each other, yet one of them winds up dead.
Then a second one almost.
That is true.
I don't doubt they would backstab each other in the back as soon as the opportunity presented itself.
Of course, they're nobles.
And that's something we can use against them.
By showing vulnerability, perhaps?
No, give them a finger, they'll take your entire hand. Nobility. Their
My
kind is trained to take any opportunity that is presented themselves and to act upon weakness. Make no mistake, you're just showing that you're not have been painted by their kind, their scholar colleague.
My apologies. I meant that we could perhaps falsify weakness of one of the other council members to perhaps cause our erstwhile conspirator to show their hand?
And how would you propose to do so?
Perhaps we could gather more evidence or find some proof of wrongdoing that would result in censure, and then privately leak it to the, shall we say, less guilty parties, and then from their reactions, we can perhaps determine who might be working for our unwanted guest on this planet.
It's true. Would such an operation not take a bit too much time? It would rely that we've selected the accurate target and that they will enact upon this information. A lot of ifs.
My apologies. I am not well acquainted with the moves and motives of the noble society.
No. Your way of thinking is correct. The only issue is that we do not possess the luxury of implementing it.
Then, how do we proceed? We have very little information and only a few leads. Are we to merely follow each one blindly? Shall I roll a die and let the motive force guide us?
As entertaining as that thought experiment may be, as he chuckles and lights up a low stick. No. I believe that when pressured, one of them will succumb, and they will say the truth. They will give us a concrete lead, and everything will fall in place. A string to follow to the source of this corruption.
The shimmering lumen, bright white around you, begin to vibrate as if they're slowly being turned off. The power here has probably not been on for a long time, and some of it is beginning to wane as it begins to flutter, and see this shimmering light sort of turn from white to gold. The council members, after Wilhelm's short speech, ensuring them that the investigation will be solved and we will find the culprit in Lester's murder, and the vigil agents have informed him that your departures are completely insured and safe. Have a safe journey back to your worlds. The Inquisitor sort of stands by the top of the stairs, and he's just staring at you. You will hear cane through their microbeads. Well, have you made a decision?
I may only offer my counsel and my speculations. I believe we can show a level of strength by detaining one and turning him against the rest of the counselors. We have more than enough blackmailing material and cause to detain Raphael Thorne II. He has a lot to offer us, and he has felt very hesitant. We have more than enough justification to hold him and come under question.
If you decide to withhold one of the counselors, do you wish the Inquisitor's presence?
Nicholas turns towards Franz.
I believe if we hold Raphael, I don't think we'll need it. Try to play it softly. Because everyone else, we don't really have anything on them. And to hold them would just show weakness.
With that, the counselors begin to walk away, one by one.
Do you wish to deliver the good news, good preacher, or shall I?
Please, Franz, I feel like you have been waiting for this moment for quite some time. I would not dare rob you from this opportunity.
Okay, as Franz, descends the stairs, and falls in behind. As others are leaving the room, and as he's starting to approach the door, he will give a nod to the vigils that are really inquisitional, and they will close the door in front of him. Says, leaving him alone in the room with the rest of us.
Can you mention the name of the person you're withholding?
Raphael Thorne.
Alright. Everyone else is gonna leave. And Raphael is stopped by your guards. He objects at first. But then sort of looks around. What? What is this?
Please, take a seat. My colleague enjoyed his conversation with you so much that he felt he wanted to have another one, just in private this time.
You can tell him he is very perplexed by this. Do you bring him to a separate officio?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yeah, we're
so
not
like a
doing
side chamber?
Yeah.
Alright.
And before he actually says anything, Franz will turn to Fulcrum and ask if he can you potentially scan for any sort of recording devices, eavesdropping devices?
Of course. Such matters are trivial. And Fulcrum will reach out with his into the noosphere and search for any such devices in the area.
Alrighty. You begin searching, and you can do a security test. -20.
Cool. I'm going to be spending a fate point just so that I can have a +10.
Awesome.
I'm going to be using my inspiration to reroll that.
Mm-hmm.
I will pass, just barely.
You check every corner of the room. There is nothing at all, and you even deactivate his devices. So you're absolutely certain that no one can hear you. No one at all.
Consequently, I will begin recording on my personal Vox set, securely hidden within my augments, of course.
Yes.
And I will be a little bit more blatant with it, and actually, while he is being roughly guided to a seat, will actually set up a voice and picked recorder across the other side of the desk, and basically start laying out pens in a rather slow and determined manner.
This is unworthy. Where is your superior? Why has he allowed this to happen? This must be a mistake. We don't wish to have a confrontation here, but you do not have the authority to guide me around.
There will be no response.
Guards, you see his men will begin to draw their weapons. They all, as you try to guide him into this sort of passage leading further back up to the administratum, they will draw their weapons and will begin to form a formation around Raphael.
Have the rest of the council members left at this point?
Yeah, a while ago. You've sort of been walking with Raphael, and he's been objecting, talking to you, why are you bringing me here? Where are we going? And then finally, not getting a question from Rickard Franz, which kind of triggered his fear. His commander will step in and literally step in front of you. And he will just sink into the crowd of guards who surround him.
With Chapral, Nicholas will turn towards Franz and say, should I break the news to him, or should I call in boss to explain it to him? Nor would you do the honors?
Wait, we don't wish to have a confrontation here. This must be a misunderstanding. You know that you don't have a right to hold me here, correct? You have no authority. Where is Wilhelm? Let me speak with him at once. The men will form like a SWAT formation around him, kneeling, all of them aiming at you. You see these red pointers just dancing around on your bodies.
You are correct. The Vigils don't have a right to hold you. So, would that not suggest very careful consideration of your next actions? Who does have the right to hold you?
The man will again just aiming their weapons at you, moving closer. Some of them are quite close. You cannot see Raphael anymore.
Allow us to answer that question, that you seem so ill-inclined to ask yourselves, as I nod towards Karach, Neil, Nova, Franz, and produce an inquisitorial rosette and slap it up on my breastplate.
And you'll see what he called one come out of a hidden compartment in Franz's thing, the stylized eye now attached to a chain around his neck.
spinning his power axe, the symbol of the Omnissiah opens up, and behind it, the skull will close, revealing the inquisitorial eye.
After a few minutes, the stormtroopers, one of them lowers his weapon, holding his hands up in the air. He walks forward. It looks like the commander of this squad. He's like tiptoeing over to you with his hands high. He's put his gun on the ground. Can I see your badge? The rosette.
Which one's he talking to?
It was. If you so insist, as I move forward to Francis to not allow them to get access to a higher engine one and offer in my own, as I say, as the senior acolyte has explained to all of you in more cordial terms, you're under the official investigation of the Inquisition. You, the guards of your liege, will cooperate with us and assist us in securing the Emperor's domain. Is that correct, Senior Acolyte, as I turn towards Franz?
I do believe that they will. Or, with a slight smile on his face, I certainly hope so.
Any of you can do an influence test. A simple influence test. No plus minus.
Just a little influence
Or a
test.
simple test. That's all.
Just one of us needs to succeed. Who has it higher?
I have 46. Does Nova have the highest influence?
Ooh, I have contact number 73.
I think that's only for making requisition tests.
Ah, that's true. Fuck.
Yeah. What's its base characteristic?
The 7.
What, 47?
Yeah, I put 100 roll in influence.
Yeah, well, I've got 46, so you're probably the best one doing it then.
Fucking 1 level difference.
I mean, do you feel lucky or not?
You know what? I feel lucky. And somebody surely has the effort to use one reroll should it be required.
It's basically 50-50.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
Rip.
You had to change it.
Okay, well there goes my inspiration.
Thank you. Come on, Lord Emperor! You are a flat failure! Fuck!
It's all because you said the thing. How hard could it be?
The Tempestus Scion walks up, grabs the rosette. It's the holy orders of the Emperor! Praise the Emperor! They're here! All of them begin, some of them kneeling, some of them begin like just lowering their weapons, hanging from their shoulder. They begin praying, chanting, some of them just looking in your direction. All of them will sort of slowly gather next to Raphael. Raphael stands there all alone as all the Tempestus Scions gather next to you. One of them, the commander, walks up. My lord, how can we serve you? He's standing next to you, Karak. Kneeling on the ground.
Karak will turn towards the commissar, and although his expression is tech priest neutral, you can sense a confusion from him. he is concerned about revealing their identity, yet he looks kind of concerned at the moment. And you can hear in your Vox feed his voice saying, "Are we sure this was the correct decision?"
Is the one we would regret the least.
Your word is my command.
At which point you'll actually see Franz give him a rather stern look.
As he kneels, the Tempesticide crawls forward on his knees. My men and I are all pious. All of us loyal to the Imperium, to the last man. I know that they would spill the blood next to me, without a second's hesitation. We all stand with the Emperor. He bows. Liege, please show mercy on us.
The Fulcrum's not actually sort of interacting with them. Franz will actually take a step forward and say, "Stand, guardsman."
He stands up, at ease, just facing the wall, looking straight ahead. Yes.
You are now in the service of the Holy Order. Understood? You will tell
Understood.
no one. You will interact with no one. You will not even tell your families.
Yes.
From this moment on, the Inquisitor will decide on what you will do, when you will do it, and how you will do it.
He nods. You see an intense gaze from his eyes. His, you can see his sincerity.
Sincerity.
He's not faking it.
Yeah. Franz will go on to the Vox bead. We'll go onto the Vox bead, connect to the, what do you call it, the Inquisitional channel, and say, "Hector, if at all possible, can you spare someone to come down and collect some new recruits?"
You will hear Hector on the microbead. What have you gotten yourselves into now? I'm coming.
It's appreciated. And then I'll turn around to Raphael and say, "So, willing to have a friendly chat, or do we still want to throw some more shenanigans about?"
Raphael's one eye is twitching, his head sort of swaying back and forth as if he's about to lose balance. Standing in the middle of the room, completely isolated, the few lumen above him throw this sharp shadow up against the wall. A single, lonely shadow. He trembles and takes a step forward. I am at your mercy. Oh, agents of the Inquisition, have mercy on me.
That will depend.
He starts wringing his hands in front of you.
Sorry, and then what do you call Franz just said, "That will depend very much upon yourself." And then we'll look at Nicholas and say, "Do you wish to continue your previous interrogation?"
I believe I can catch him if you give me time and specialists. I will require all of your help.
Okay.
He's terrified and almost like he's naked. He starts like stumbling forward under his very deep robes. Some of his jewelry falls off on the ground as he sort of clumsily stumbles forward. I only wish to speak with you the truth. Every word. My every word. He trembles, bows his head. I did not have anything to do with Lester's death.
Who did?
half open mouth, he looks back and forth at you. If the prefect doubts my loyalty, he can inspect all of my chambers. He can have my mansions, all of it. I yield.
Yourself not, Commissar. He will comply. We just have to ask him the right questions.
He looks back up at you. I know why you're here. I know. I always knew. I knew who you were the second I looked into your eyes. Only the Inquisition can bring terror to my heart, because my heart beats for the Emperor.
Well, save your breath.
He will get down on one knee, still wringing his hands, begging in a pleading motion, while kneeling on the ground. I swear my loyalty to the Imperium, to the Emperor.
Noble Court Chancellor, save your breath for the questioning chamber. You will have time enough to plead your case and to answer our questions. Now, if you'd be so kind as to follow the Commissar.
He gets up and you can see his face completely twisted in pain. Trembling, his one servant still standing next to him will help him up as he sort of stumbles up to you.
As he gets up, what do you call Franz is going to have a look in his eye to see whether or not he can discern whether or not he is going to try to wangle his way out and formulating a plot or not.
As if he's wearing manacles, he will stumble with tight footsteps behind you, his servant helping him to walk. The Tempestus Scions now standing next to Hector, as Raphael is brought over to you. What of my duties? Who will oversee the courts?
Fear not, Counselor. Inquisition shall be in tight communications with the members. They will either assist or take over your duties, depending on the course of this conversation.
His lip trembling, takes a step forward. Of course.
Your only focus should be to answer our questions from now on. Truthfully.
Alright, awesome. You all get an inspiration point. Where do you take him? We can go out of the roleplay scene, and you guys can just discuss what you want to do.
I would say the Vigilant.
We could have, we don't have to move him too far. We do have a proper questioning chamber that we may have used once or twice before the the council meeting.
I know the image you're talking about. I can see it in my head.
Sorry, my head, that was just a broom cupboard.
In my mind, it was like an adjacent prepared room with an adjacent chamber that could be listening through.
Yeah, no, I had the same idea.
Alright, I kind of had a broom cupboard with, like one of those glass sort of partitions where you have all the boxes of stuff.
No, it's all good. Whatever it is, you don't bring him out of the administratum. Am I understanding right?
Yeah, we don't want to.
Okay. Alright. So you're staying in the administratum. And you're gonna find an officio where you have interrogated people before. Raphael leaning up against one of the desks. There are a few chairs in the room. A little bit further up, you see him stumble into the room. It smells of old ink and leather and parchment. He leans up against the desk. A few ink pens falls on the ground, and he is clearly terrified. But you can see that this is an important man who would otherwise produce fair and have an aura of authority. He now seems completely stripped and harmless.
And as he's stumbling about, knocking over pots and inkwells and whatever else, Franz will grab a chair and just drag it along the floor, making that as wood slowly hits stone, hits carpet, hits wood, and then we'll basically just put it down and say, sit.
He slowly sits down on the chair. It creaks.
No. As Franz also places the rest of a pit recorder, rest of the recording devices, I go towards Nova and Karek, telling both of them I will rely on your observation capabilities. Just in case he decides to be less cooperative or too defensive, worst case scenario.
Understood.
His oath cog sort of bends up as he sits down on the chair, up against his chin. May I put this on the ground? It's quite heavy.
Faith is a heavy burden to some. Should you choose to do so?
He nods slowly, lifts it off his chest, puts it on the ground.
You'd be able to cast one's faith off so easily.
I believe that in our presence, that matters very little. As the very enforcer of that which he carries. Nevertheless, subject is Raphael Thorpe II, court counselor, charge of tithe collection, both of his home planet and several important sectors of Juno. Court counselor, thank you for taking your time for this discussion. As he says, mimicking the same gestures as when he was undercover as a vigil agent.
He bows. Agents of the Inquisition. If this is to be my last moment, know that it has been an honor to serve the prefect.
You'll see Franz over the data slate, which is operating from the autoquill, changing the what he called Inquisition to Vigil.
Court Counselor Raphael, I come from an ecclesiastical background. I believe that the true nature of the human spirit relies not in our worst moments, but what we do in order to absolve ourselves from the sins that we may have committed or that we perceive to have committed. I believe in second chances and in some moments salvation even. I believe, Lord Counselor, that there is something within you that wishes to cooperate with us, even before we revealed our true nature. Yet I sense hesitation at that time. I wish you to use your inner strength and dispel it. Know that in this moment, when your faith became clearer than anything else, is the moment that you should show your true human spirit. As the Emperor has worked tirelessly for thousands of years to ensure humanity's reigns across the galaxy, you yourself being an important subject, there is still hope for you. Last we left off, as he thinks to the previous conversation, you wanted to say something before your entourage managed to distract you from our conversation. Do you recall?
No, I seem to have forgotten.
I understand. In the hue of the moment, thoughts seem to distract one from the trivia of merely few moments ago. Worry yourself not. When confronted about your actions against the late governor who has lost his life, may the Emperor offer him peace. As he does so, he makes a gesture of the Aquila. You wanted to talk about a secret vault that Counselor Judge Holster may be in possession of, and of a look that Counselor Lester Holst has had over the chief arbitrator that yet has lost it. Does this refresh your memory?
Yes. He sinks down in his seat. Dim light dancing on his forehead.
As many an acolyte have monitored the atmosphere and the slight whispers and mannerisms of each of the counselor's attendants, we have discerned that you had a close relationship with the Counselor Judge, yet you have not hesitated to throw suspicion upon him, almost as if you thought that he could handle it or try to throw us off in a less important direction.
Mouth half open, he just sort of sinks to his side, Are you broadcasting this to the rest of the Inquisition on your microbeam? This interrogation? Just to your cell, to your closest cell, to the Inquisitor, Kane?
Eric is recording it, but he's not broadcasting it.
Got it. Is anyone broadcasting it to Kane or Inquisitor?
I would have requested that both Inquisitor and Kane are aware of this interrogation. If not in the room adjacent, then for them to know what is discussed here.
Got it. You all gain 3 influence. You can add that to your influence stat. Raphael looks up. Your suspicion is entirely correct. I was trying to occupy the vigil. I was dismissing them.
For what purpose, Counselor? What fears possessed
He
you?
sinks down in his hands. I've served the council for 32 years. In that time that I've learned, truth and loyalty are rarely found in the same room. I had no way of knowing if one of you or all of you served the murderer or one of the other council members. For all I knew, you could be working for them. I didn't want to reveal anything sensitive to the vigil.
Of course, a cautious approach in person of your status and position, do so wisely. However, now that such worries have been dispelled, you may rely upon the safety offered by His Majesty's most honored Inquisition.
He nods. Yes. Truth is, I knew Holst. I knew Lester. Everyone did. He was persistent. I admired that. Until he started seeing enemies in every corridor. There are many who hate him.
Indeed. From my own personal experience, and as many acolytes can attest, everyone in the council chambers was well guarded, and none of them were squeaky clean. Yet also, none of them were willing to show their hand, as to not show possible witnesses to their opposition. I believe that this is a quite competitive environment.
You are right.
And I understand why the rest of the governors had a lesser look of the late governor, court councillor Lester. Veranaya does do not mix well with business and positions of power. Yet, it was not completely wrong, as of the later events have shown.
He knows.
Many within the council believe that you, honorable guest, Raphael, have quite the extensive intelligence network.
I do. I attain many contacts through my position in the court.
Indeed. Tell me, what were you so hesitant to discuss?
Do an interrogation tests with a -20.
I'll give you a hand.
Anyone with better interrogation, feel free to interject. I have 50.
Wasn't?
Regretfully, my interrogation is even worse because, yeah.
Maybe.
I'm not good at integration either.
Okay, so I'm the best chance. Okay, I assume.
Hold on. Yeah, I'll give it a bash.
Okay, I'll assist you.
So that was what, plus 10? What was it, minus 20?
So it'd be at -10.
Anyone else that can assist him as well for a maximum of flat?
Not unless you'll once again allow me to monitor heart rates and stuff for assistance.
Would you allow it to pass, Morten?
So when?
With him monitoring
Like to
the...
once again monitor like his vital signs and his
Yeah,
heart rate.
of course.
Oh, solid.
Sure.
I will do that then.
That's an assist.
That's a maximum assistance you can get. It's a flat.
It's just waiting for it to come through.
His servant leans in as you begin to measure his pulse. He has a heart issue.
That
Make
has been
sure
taken
he is
into
not pressured. My master's health is fragile.
Okay, so that's success with 3 additional.
Raphael's heartbeat increases.
So Fran leans in and basically goes close to his ear and basically asks the same question, only in a slower, more menacing tone. Says, and then steps back and pretends to look out the window as he listens for the response.
As he inches closer, he hesitates, Franz moves closer, repeating the question, yet as if he serves as a protective shield. Nicholas intervenes in between them, slightly pushing Franz away as they both nod to each other, almost repelling such a vile beast, almost ready to lash out at any sign of hesitation of the counselor. Trying to ease the counselor away, he pushes Hans' concern away as it comes. Surely, Governor, there is no need for such forward approach, yes? Acolyte, the Governor is willing to elaborate.
Sorry, it just seemed to me as though he was being a bit hesitant. I was just going to help him with that hesitation.
Such eagerness is warranted to...
He visibly shivers as he turns pale, looks at the ground. The room is eerily silent.
Now, Counselor, you were saying...
He looks up. Yes?
You were saying, before you, for a moment, almost hesitated there. What did you want to tell us? before succumbing to the worries that we may be working for possibly the killer or other council members.
No, I would never accuse you of that. You're the Inquisition. I thought I was wrong. You must be here for something else. Not Lester's death. Surely this is not important enough to bring. He looks around. An Inquisitor.
Well, Counselor, we are far from our home planets of origins, and the capital, Juno, is thriving with enemies and potential misunderstandings. We would seek allies in such delicate matters such as our investigation, and we would reveal our true intentions, but we must know that we can trust you, and we cannot do so if you keep avoiding the questions.
You can trust me. He looks up, clearly almost losing consciousness. I will answer any question you have.
Very well. So, what were you hesitating in answering? You tried to obfuscate the truth at the time while trying to throw suspicion upon Counselor Sachs. What did you try to avoid?
He looks out into the air, his eyes filling with tears. He came to me. He looked up at you. If I had known that you were Inquisition, I would have told you the truth. I would have told you everything. You must believe me.
I do. And now it is time to make amends. Please.
Lester, he came to me the week before he died. He said that he had names. He said the Vigilites wouldn't act unless I confirmed his evidence. He looks over his shoulder. I told him to go to Wilhelm. He said Wilhelm already knew. What am I to think of that? Do you understand why I hesitate to speak with the Vigil? And then he ends up dead.
Know that Judge Wilhelm is in cooperation with the Inquisition. He was the one that has summoned us here and has offered his full cooperation with us.
You can hear someone walking out in the hallway as he sinks down, closes his eyes. I know what this means. I will not be going back to my previous post, will I? My life will never go back. He just stares emptily out into the air, his eyes darting from left to right.
He sits on in a squatting position next to him as he brushes his beard, as Nicholas brushes his beard and says, "Perhaps you may be right. Yet an ally in a high position does serve the Inquisition better than a missing court counselor, wouldn't you agree?"
Of course.
To which Franz will turn around and go, Nicholas, correct me if I'm wrong, but would a person in the highest position not be even more useful to the Inquisition?
Oh, but I agree. Yet such a person would have very little reasons to cooperate with people such as you and I. After all, is the people that are of less importance that always listen, especially when no one else seems to pay attention.
So you're saying that this could essentially be one day all just a bad dream?
Could be. And after our job is done, it could turn out to be just a fever dream, as it were. Life goes back
Interesting
to
thought
usual. Indeed. Wouldn't that be nice, Counselor?
I would enjoy that very much, compared to the alternative.
Yes. Yet, correct me if I'm wrong, Senior Acolyte turning towards Franz. Such miracles would only provide to trusting members of Imperial Society, wouldn't it?
Oh, indeed, the most trustworthy.
Oh, of course. So, Court Counselor Raphael, why would we trust you? What can you offer us?
You shouldn't trust me.
His eyes sharpen in his direction as he says that. And why is that?
I have held true to my position, but I have not held true to the scrutiny of the Inquisition. You would find me guilty under investigation, but in performing my duties for the prefect, I have succeeded. I cheated my Imperial Guard service. I never saved the Commissar. My heroic deeds are a fraud. But I knew that I could perform my duties, and I do so well. And my position was inherited from my father, Promethean mining chair. As he straightens up in his chair, tears filling his eyes. They killed my father, Keita, in an accident. The ones that rule our planet. Whether you choose to bring me back to what I was or not, you will learn the truth. They have us all by our necks. My father was laying there, dead before me. His blood spilled out in my hands. As revenge, because he failed to do as they said. Now, I only receive the signals. The faint signals. On rare occasions. You asked about Zaz. He had the authority to expunge the entire court records. I asked him once, as a half-joke, whether he'd ever use it on a counselor. He just smiled to me. Holst thought that sex was building a judiciary cult, burying heresy under procedure. But the truth is, he was protecting us all. We were all guilty. As he says that, he closes his eyes and his face sinks forward. We are all guilty in the eyes of the Inquisition.
Rance will take a step forward and say, in regards to your Imperial Guard service, don't let it bother you. If we held everyone to the same standard as you're holding yourself to at this moment in time, we wouldn't have a senior command.
You
in
could
regards
tell
to your father,
in a different situation he would form a smirk, but right now he's just resigned and he's closing his eyes, slight nod on his head.
in regards to your father, he died trying to defend the Emperor's Imperium. Now, these messages, who are they from? What do they ask you to do?
He shakes his head. I don't know, but everyone receives them. If you must wipe my memories, there is a vault beneath my court, sealed since its founding. Holst knew he wasn't supposed to. He saw something pointing to who they are. Something not human. And he closes his eyes at this, clearly terrified. Something. He said it mimicked breath, like it remembered how. I told him it was an anomaly, but he didn't believe me.
The vaults are still sealed?
Yes.
Would you be able to unseal it for our investigation, your consulship?
He nods.
Would you also be able to offer a way for us to secure the cooperation of Counselor Zatch Holston.
He shakes his head slowly. He would know. He is extremely perceptive. You would somehow have to wipe my memory. And then lead it to happen. Perhaps with some knowledge that I tell you now. He would know that something is wrong if he saw me.
What would convince Counselor Zatch to come to our side and be more honest, to dispel any thoughts of us in our vigil disguise, to be working with any opposition of his code phrase, a secret that he would only relate to his most trustworthy of colleagues. Something.
If he knew that you were of the Inquisition, he would cooperate. That is the only way.
Yet anything less, he would reject us.
He nods.
Tell me about your rivalry with Elias.
He frowns. I had private talks, and Lester expressed concern for the lack of tides from both of the host moons, Chaldine in particular. Lester looked into it. He claimed that the 7 counselors each carried a piece of a design. A code, maybe. He showed me diagrams, geometries that made me ill just to look at. He said the signals were coming from beyond. I told him it was madness. He said it was prophecy.
Do you know where these designs lay, or could you redraw them from memories?
He reaches back and grabs a piece of parchment and an ink pen, and he begins drawing. Any of you can do Forbidden Lore Chaos. And you can do Linguistics Eldari.
This Linguistics Eldar 6 degrees of success.
Would heresy suffice for the Forbidden Lore?
No.
Nah.
As he draws the symbols and looks at them, he sort of closes his eyes as if his eyes are hurting. He turns them around to you. All of you can roll a fair one test.
Jaded.
Willpower -10. Unless you got jaded.
Someone's got jaded and also succeeded with 6 additional on the Eldar.
It's like the Eldar symbols are the symbols for a kind of structure that is on the world Juno, and to pinpoint it and to know the connections, any of you can do a lore Ascalon sector with +10.
Common or scholastic?
That is Commodore. Adamantium save.
Use knowledge.
Adamantium faith.
So the diagram is made by in Eldari text or with symbols, and he draws the world and the name in Eldari for the Pellucid Tower. The Pellucid Tower is where the prefect lives. This is a device used for a special locking mechanism. That is all the details that there are, and it is of Eldari origin. It is some kind of device used to lock something, and it is of Eldari origin. And then there are a bunch of visions that Lester had in connection to this. Some of it looks distorted and unhealthy. Chaos.
Do you possess any information regarding the organization known as the Serpent's Fan?
He nods. I know them.
Would they have any reason to target one of the council members?
No, none. Have they?
They have made an attempt to a council member's life. We've stopped them in the process.
He frowns. That can't be.
The operative has also been found in possession of an exorbitant amount of Xenos tech.
Do a interrogation tests at -30.
Franz?
Yeah, I'll do that. And as he's saying that, what do you call it? Franz will step forward, reach into his back, and pull out the monofilament blade, which is still covered in the cloth. Says, and show it to him, and say things like this. Failed interrogation.
I can offer you duration should you require to reroll it.
I think I have one. No, I don't. Yeah, if you got one.
Yep.
Sorry, was minus what again?
30. With the assistance, it should be a -10.
Minus 2. Okay. Success with 4 additional.
You'll have to see it.
So, why precisely would they target a council member? Using some quite exquisite alien technology.
Raphael breaks, and after a little bit of a harsher interrogation, he looks up. You found the right man. I was the one who ordered the hit. I I was the one who ordered Martyr's death.
I assume you wish to explain yourself.
No.
Well, that's disappointing.
No, I have nothing more to add. You don't understand what Holst threatened to do. If he had gone public, if he had exposed the Council's fractures, we'd all have burned. He said Juno's protection was tied to the lies we refused to name. Maybe he was right. Maybe Martyr is right. He just stares blankly out in the air in resignation.
Have you considered that this is perhaps the one opportunity you have in which this sector doesn't burn?
He closes his eyes. My sincere wish is that my confession somehow saves this sector. And if I have to give my life, perhaps that is right.
Well, your failure to answer the final question, on which, quite frankly, the entire sector could have rested upon, may have condemned it. One last chance.
Do not hesitate now, Lord Chancellor. Tell us why the so-called servants of the Imperium, known as the Serpent's Fan, would carry so much xenostat upon them.
He nods. Right. I do provide them with the weapons that we find and confiscate. They are armed with heretical weaponry in a conflict with the other council members, ever escalating and existing in the shadows. We wage war on each other in secret. In this war, we use all means available to us, even those that the Inquisition would frown upon. But without us, the whole sector would crumble.
Have you ordered an execution of a Chancellor?
I did.
Yes.
I ordered the death of Martyr Domus.
Why?
Because he threatened to reveal the truth that you came for. And I am glad he did not die. But I never killed Lester. That is the truth. I stood aside. I let the storm come. And when it passed, I let it happen. It is as if the Emperor himself intervened before I killed one of the councillors. I don't wish for this to escalate further. If we can find a way to stop the war, some cause to unify us in this isolated sector, perhaps he can bring an end. But you are here for something else entirely.
Yes. Well, I believe that Xenos influence seeks to destroy the fragile ecosystem which mankind inhabits. They most likely sought an ally. We have seen, as he says so with connotations, that which have killed the late Chancellor Holst is not human by far. Is a creature that we ourselves have rarely encountered, and its design customized specifically for this task. You yourself consider to be a loyal subject of the Emperor. Yet, is there anyone in your mind that would align themselves with any Xenos influences?
He draws a deep breath. I've had many cases brought to me. I saw it once. Not clearly. Half human, half something else. Its skin shimmering like oil. And its hands. Emperor, save me. Its hands were wrong. They kept changing, digging into the victim. They found Holst's body, half torn apart, burned beyond recognition. But the blood was wrong. One thicker, elastic, not of this world, not human. Nothing human can do that. We tried to seal the investigation, blamed it on a failed assassination, but the old broods guarding the building, they spoke of a man-shaped thing, covered in blood that ran on all fours. We couldn't contain it.
Make no mistake, Counselor, that is the exact creature that has fallen upon.
Holst tried to warn me. It's not here to infiltrate, he said. It is here to keep us in line. It is the tool. And now he's gone. And some days I see him walking past. And I wonder if I'm next. We're all threatened by something I believe is not human. It has us all. Do you understand?
I believe I do.
The monster is merely a tool.
Yet, other than your complaints, what do they wish to obtain?
Our obedience. Control.
To who or what? That which is unguided cannot garner any results. Surely you have heard whispers of a certain individual or organization that you should plead support to, or, if anything, to avoid the prosecution of. When you are too close to finding them out, or when you were moving against a possible perceived threat of a different council member, and when you were about to act, being stopped in your tracks. Something out of place, unnatural, and far too precise to be of any other counselor's design.
This is not of human design. Every month, these strange shipments leave the Basilica under false liturgic codes. Holst tracked one of them to a black site. He said the chanting wasn't human. He had syllables twisting his skull. He knew too much. That's why we've been destroying the records. Anyone who knows too much ends up dead. There is a force acting on this world, on this sector, not of human origin.
When is the next shipment to leave?
I don't know.
Do you believe Counselor Elias has anything to do with this?
He must know. He must.
This Franz
There
will
is something he mentioned. Perhaps it's not relevant. There is something in the Pellucid Tower that no one speaks of. But Holst once said it held the original text that the cult follows, the Lay of Askelios. It is not a scripture, it's more of an instruction manual. I fear sometimes that I am merely a tool for those who truly rule this world. One of my scribes brought me a page, torn from notes, taken by one of our psychers who had a vision. It spoke of a song that binds flesh, of a cult that uses a thing. They're the ones orchestrating all of this, according to his vision. But that is insane. He just stares at the wall with a deadened gaze.
In the future, is there any way of us to securing a partnership or a ways of not coming under fire by the Serpent's Fang?
The Serpent's Fang serve me. He looks up. I use them. just like the other councillors, have their own enforcers. The Serpentfang are mine.
Who controls the basilica?
He nods. The basilica hides something great. Officially, the Cathedral of St. Valerius is managed by the Identity Zealots. But, of course, Archcardinal Harris has and had a council of other synods on each subsector in Ascalon. Thousands of pilgrims donate to the wealthy cardinal.
Would you say that the cardinal possesses such influence that would rival the council?
Yes, each individual councillor, perhaps.
Yet not the combined might.
Nothing in the sector.
I see.
He swallows, looks back up. The Serpentfang assassins are mine. I use them to ensure the integrity of the council. And to protect our secrecy.
I pray that you shall use them more wisely in the future.
He nods.
He then, Nicholas then turns to Franz and says, while looking at his chrono timepiece, and says, Franz, ask your questions, but know that time is precious. Should we continue further, I fear not even Jack will be able to mind wipe him without adverse effects. And whether you choose to let him be as he is, or should you wish to recover what secrecy remains of our operation, is up to you, as senior acolyte.
He grabs your hand as you walk away. Before I go back, just know this. Whatever it is, it knows us, our codes, our council votes before we make them. It knows everything. Holst said it could see into the future. It could see every possibility. And that it chose the worst one for every time we opposed it. That will give you an insight into the horror that it has brought into our lives. And perhaps explain the length that we have gone through. He instantly releases your hand and sort of crumbles into a shaking mess.
I don't really have any more questions for him. I reckon we wipe his mind. And hope that we don't have to use exterminators on the system to cauterize the wound that he has allowed fester.
Ignorance is both a blessing and oftentimes a sin. Don't hold it against them.
The servant standing next to Raphael will look at you. And what about me? Raphael looks up. Yes, what of my servant?
your servant.
What will
Well,
happen to him?
I suggest that under Jax's supervision, we will be able to alleviate most of your servants, and those that are know too much will be under direct inquisitorial oversight, be relieved of their former duties. And after our mission here has come and passed successfully, they will either be given the option of remaining on this planet and possibly under your service, or continuing their career under inquisitorial authority.
And at that point, any of you can do an awareness test at -10. All of you. Sorry, I should have said all of you.
It's okay.
All of you can do an awareness test -10.
I'm going to re-roll with my inspiration point.
Ooh, close.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, I'm blind.
Success. Yeah, I'll just take the success.
Chris, Nova, you look down. You're standing right next to him. The court counselor has his hand in between two folds in his robe. He is fiddling with something, and you see the shape of a device, sort of a square shape, pop out for a moment.
She's gonna grab his hand.
As you grab it, he reacts startled.
What do you think you're doing?
Nothing.
And she'll reach into the pocket and pull out whatever he was fiddling with.
It is a Vox recorder. Hidden in his robe, a small Vox recorder.
Oh, were you planning to blackmail us?
No. No. I swear.
Nova,
I just
is it
wanted to
turned on?
remember. I
You
didn't want to forget everything. I... Open mouth is reaches around. I've made a mistake.
He,
So she'll throw the recorder to the tech priest. I presume you can scrub it of any data.
Maybe not.
Of course. That is something I am most capable of, and Fulcrum will take it and very quickly just wipe all of the data that he recorded, as well as any other files pertaining to the existence of the Inquisition on this planet and in this sector. But not before a perfunctory glance at the rest of the stuff on it. Just to make sure that
It
there
was
isn't anything
just
that they
that.
haven't been telling us.
He had been recording the entire meeting.
Oh, perfect. Then I'll just wipe that, and I will hand it back to him. This should be more than sufficient, but my colleagues may disagree.
it licks
I
his
swear,
tongue.
I wasn't planning on giving it to anyone else. I just didn't want to wake up and not remember. I just wanted to remember.
Nicholas shakes his head and licks his tongue several times, saying, Counselor, all habits die hard, don't they?
Yeah, he kind of just resigns, sinks down into his seat.
Luckily for you, Nova here, Adeline Nova here, saved you from making a terrible mistake. But in the end, Nicholas turns to Franz. Shall we proceed as planned, or does this change things?
Firstly, he's going to look at Raphael, then he's going to look back at his assistant and ask him, is there anything you wish to share before we check you?
No.
Right, this is the way it's going to go. You are getting mind scrubbed. And as he's pointing to the counsellor, you'll be left with some of your memories intact, enough to perform your duties. You, the same. Know this, however. If I get a sniff of anything else that you have done to back up your memories, or anything along those lines, you will find yourself as a servitor for the rest of your natural life with all your memories intact.
The court counselor nods. I agree. Bless the Emperor. He closes his eyes and just leans back on his seat with a straight back, as if ready to receive whatever it is.
Franz will go onto his microbead and say, Jack, we have a job for you.
Awesome. And with that, we can put a bookmark in the game. Raphael will be mind wiped and brought back to his chambers. And everybody gets 400 XP.
Nice.
We have a priority target, and we know the win conditions. If we get whoever is responsible for this, if we manage to